About a month and a half ago now, I made a video exposing the super popular cracked Minecraft launcher, TLauncher. If you haven't seen it, go watch, but basically the launcher was stolen from its original creator by a shady offshore Russian company with a very dodgy past, likely containing various malware or spyware. Anyways, only a few days after my video, they actually responded, calling me a liar, racist, claiming sponsors who threatened them, paid me to make the video against them, lying through their teeth about virus scans, which would prove wrong, as well as much more. On December the 6th, only 2 days after I uploaded my video, the Russian TLauncher account on popular Russian social media site VK would post this. Now, they didn't respond to me explicitly, but coincidentally, they came out with multiple statements only 2 days after my video, posting many times on their Russian and English social media for the first time in over a month. Some foreign bloggers, which is what they would refer to me and others who talked about TLauncher as, began to publish exposures on TLauncher. It all started with messages to our mail with demands to block users from Russia under various threats. Now, I'm not sure if this is a translation error or not. The English announcement they would do on their Facebook didn't mention anything like this, but I obviously did not send any threats to block Russian users. So I asked MeTask on Discord, who provided me with some information about the client we'll mention later, and he told me that what they actually said is that they received emails from someone telling them to block Russian users from using their client, insinuating that the foreign bloggers such as myself were part of such demands and threats in some crazy smear campaign designed to ruin TLauncher's sparkling reputation, which is all obviously a massive lie. They further go on to mention that English-speaking bloggers spread fake information about viruses and the origin of their launcher, mentioning that Russian bloggers may republish or believe such info without realizing they have been deceived. Stay vigilant. How ironic that entire statement is. Finally, to reassure their users of the launcher's safety, they mention it can be checked through 70 antiviruses on the website virustotal.com. Their English post also mentions this, and it seems to be their driving argument for why their client is safe. Now, VirusTotal isn't a bad website, but as users on Reddit state, it's a tool which can be used incorrectly and which is best used to provide guidance rather than detections. In TLauncher's original post, they scanned the exe you got directly from downloading from their site, telling other users to do so as well. MeTask instead scanned a few unarchived files located in the temp folder when the TLauncher installer is running. He also removed the file's digital signature, so they are scanned as new files, rather than the website giving the result of TLauncher files they already had scanned in their database. And as you can see, they were flagged by a few different antiviruses for containing Trojans or malicious software. In fact, one of them, a zipped file which requires a password to access, flagged 10 out of 71 antiviruses. Quite a different story from the 70 antiviruses that cannot be wrong, as they claimed in their post, whereby only the main launcher is scanned. Very suspicious and shady once more. You can try this yourself as well. MeTask provided me with some instructions on how to isolate these files, remove their digital signatures, and scan them in VirusTotal. I'll link it down below. Now, TLauncher also created a blog post where they went into more detail about some of the claims I made in my video. First, they mentioned how you guys should all subscribe to TheMisterEpic as he's a great YouTuber, no pressure of course. Then they mentioned their launcher's suspicious code. First, they tried to mislead their users by claiming that their launcher has millions of lines of code, when in actuality it only has about 50,000. Then they claimed that their large user base may face certain problems due to incorrect computer settings. Once again, more BS, but I actually got a couple comments about what the dodgy code in TLauncher does, so let me clarify with the help of MeTask and some educated commenters. So the code here doesn't actually crash or kill the antivirus, but rather it waits for it to finish scanning, then downloads a new file that is executed by the code netch winsock reset. Now, supposedly according to this comment, that isn't really bad. Next, they mention why they don't download files from their official sources, claiming that they do this because official websites don't have direct download links that do not require installations, while also mentioning that some of the files may have been deleted. This argument completely falls flat on its face once you realize that Multi-MC, which also installs Forge and Fabric in their launcher, installs both straight from their official websites without issue. Then there's also the issue of them downloading Java, primarily the fact that no program would automatically download Java for you when you install it. As I'm sure many of you know, when you install Minecraft or other certain programs for the first time, it will tell you that you need to install Java. TLauncher downloads Java from their own private servers and does that automatically for you when you install the launcher, meaning they could tamper with the files without you knowing. As this commenter mentions, it's quite difficult to maliciously modify a Java runtime when there is a significant chance the antivirus will detect it, but since it could be set to run in the Windows path and thus executed, who knows what it could do. Considering TLauncher's resources and extremely shady history, it definitely isn't out of the picture. MeTask also did some further analysis into the game's code in this Reddit post here, which is actually now pinned on the Pirated Games subreddit. Here's a variety of screenshots of code where TLauncher is collecting info such as programs you open, what CPU, GPU, RAM, Java version, OS, and more you have. It also collects stats about what servers you join and what Minecraft version you've been playing. Furthermore, he found a selection of suspicious exe files which the launcher shouldn't need to include, as well as a file which uses CMD. Here's some more code where the launcher opens and runs dxdiag.exe, a tool used to collect info about devices and troubleshoot DirectX issues, and potentially interact with drivers, although we aren't exactly sure of that one. Once again, it's just many suspicious things that launchers don't need to do normally. Here they mention DMCA and how I scared all their players with this term. Apparently, bloggers are deliberately trying to scare you into making irrational decisions. Dubious personalities such as myself use this to our benefit to force you to buy something. They claim to not be involved in hacking the game, using Notch's tweet as their justification for why their launcher is legal. Not only have they tried to entirely dodge the DMCA takedowns I displayed they made, but they flat out lie about the legality of their launcher. I'm sure you know this, and so does TLauncher Inc., but pirating a game is far from legal, and using a 10-year-old tweet as their justification for doing so is outrageously dumb. They next go on to mention that I don't do anything for free, and my sponsors set the theme of the video to slander competitors. They mentioned that we know that 70 antiviruses find TLauncher as safe and believe we are smarter than antivirus programs that have existed for 30 years. Now, first of all, I did not take any sponsorship in my TLauncher video, nor have I ever taken a sponsorship in my entire YouTube career, as a matter of fact. Second of all, I didn't know that all these 70 antiviruses existed since 1992. It's just all complete BS that dodges the question once again. Alright, but here is my favorite part though. As you know from my last video, we discovered that TLauncher Inc. is registered offshore in a tiny African country famous for being a tax-free haven. Their response to that is something that truly brought a tear to my eye. There are no bad countries or nationalities. Alas, bloggers think differently. Their words breathe racism, which is extremely terrible. Do not believe them. All countries are beautiful in their own way, and you cannot call them bad or wrong. How absolutely beautiful and insightful. In fact, I'm booking my ticket to North Korea as we speak. This is just hilarious though, by far the stupidest counter argument they have made yet. And finally, they respond to my part of the video where I talk about their company's many past scandals in history. Once again, they flat out lie, mentioning all disagreements are resolved peacefully with both parties reaching a consensus. Yeah, sure, let's just ignore the dozens of fake DMCA claims, forcing the original TLauncher to entirely change its name and scamming many server owners, all of which were of course resolved peacefully and with a consensus. To conclude with joy and pride, TLauncher has no viruses and is absolutely safe and reliable. Many of the English comments and responses to their posts rightfully call them out for their BS and flat out lies. Even comments in Spanish and other languages are roasting them in their post, so clearly my video had some impact. However, worryingly, many comments in Russian are very in support of TLauncher still. I noticed this on their Russian VK post. It's almost like they have a cult-like influence over their Russian audience and can do no wrong in their eyes. It's kind of scary to see how much control they have over the Russian player base, who worship them like Minecraft gods. And the fact that they are so easily willing to lie and manipulate their unknowing users does not bode well for the safety of their very shady launcher. Help spread the true story about TLauncher, and maybe even the Russian community will finally turn on them. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching.